yesterday I was able to recollect and recapture all the memories of that day. So here we go. First period, I thought I was going to be late, but I got right to school as my teacher, who was a substitute today, was calling in for attendance. And surprisingly, I was not late at all. And other than that, I was able to finish up another Spanish Praterite worksheet for past tense, although it does get really annoying. And I spent most of the time thinking of what to do, to be honest. And during this time, the TA also, as what I can observe, she felt a little sad and she kept her head down a lot of the times. I wondered whatever was going on with her. But I also learned in Spanish that my main usage for verbs and everyday speaking should be primarily for present tense, preterite, periphrastic future, perfect past, tense, and of course subjunctive present, which are like big terms right there. But I heard that's what I need to know. Moving on to second period. This was a free period, so this one interesting thing that I saw is that when I went to watch the modified classes basketball game, since after calling in attendance for the teacher, a volleyball came flying near us, and what I saw is that the kid in the small hood who was playing basketball, he threw that volleyball straight into one of the gym's hanging achievement ribbons, those little red ones to showcase the school's winnings. And it was apparently a 2017 CIF basketball championship on the right side of the gym, the one where the modified class usually is. And as much as it is small, I have never seen a kid ever do something like that, kick a volleyball so high that you end up hitting one of those ribbon achievements. And like in a 1 in 100,000 chance. I think of it like a blue leaf in a pile of green leaves type of thing to ever happen. I know most kicks are pretty low. But during the basketball game, though, that little kid in the hood, oh, he definitely got cooked. I mean, he absolutely got cooked terribly by the other players nearby. Even though it was primarily for the modified kids, the kid also joined in. Is that the kid was playing ball, but he wasn't playing ball enough. For a volleyball game, there was another volleyball game nearby, and I wanted to interact with the group that seemed to be good with the volleyball, but I didn't interact because I was afraid and I didn't have as much energy then. Sadly, right at the end of the period, as I was talking to two girls like the ones I've talked about before, as I was playing with my tennis ball in my hand, they ended up kicking my hand as I was bouncing my tennis ball. And after that, I told the teacher who was right in front of us, and he felt more annoyed than he was relieved. And they attacked the sensitive part though, because when they kicked me, my right middle finger has a deformity. So I mean, in theory, I could have went to the office and told them about it if they really ended up damaging my middle finger. I don't have tolerance for this type of behavior, so I'd always tell a teacher, especially with them, even though the kick was light this time. But right at the end, though, is that I heard a teacher got in trouble by a few students. So when we had to head to the exit after we changed out for PE, he had to stay near the exit line to stop allowing people from leaving. But for third period, I finished up the same salt concentration with the hydrometer lab assignment from yesterday, and the teacher called me out on 6-7, saying one of the secret buckets that had a amount of salt concentration had that, percentage on it, and my number that obviously he said. And after that, I worked on another web quest assignment that he was assigned. It's the first part that required me to switch up how much water that I use every day. I also learned how one of the students in class, as I heard from at least from one of the teachers, is that he got a lunch detention because he got in a fight with someone, and they low taper Ken Winley was suspended from school. At least that's what I heard. I didn't witness it myself, but I heard that he got suspended because he got a fight with another kid in school during a lunch detention. So that's what I heard. Cool law right there, I guess, for third period. But for fourth, we did more notes about Japan and how it defeated the Pacific Theater with the US's idea of island hopping and taking over certain islands to increase bombing attempts more and more. Saipan. For the project, I finished up my thesis statement, and I'm going to start on the timeline very soon, though, after I took those notes. On lunch, this is another good social plate tectonics example again. So basically, my main friends weren't there today just for a few minutes, so there are two random girls who came up to me, and whom one was in my former math class last year. And we had a great conversation, though I was not able to get her media after. Um, they told me they apparently, it was like two girls. The other one told me that they apparently split up. They apparently broke up together, but they apparently came back again. It was like a bi relationship. And yes, one of them was in my math class last year. And much crazier as they were as freshmen back then. And I questioned that if they were still crazy today. And they said no, obviously. And in social play tectonics, though, as my friend eventually came after visiting the office, her other friend was absent. So the two to one example here eventually split into two on two groups. That means my friend, now the conversation's split from me to the friend that I know. And the friend on the other side is now split with the other friend. And eventually, I noticed that there was a silent tension. It's not a bad tension, but it was a tension that was building because there was no effort to actually unite the conversation. So both of them went on their phones, we both went on our phones, and they eventually left. And I sense that this is subconscious, just of social plate tectonics and how people work, at least humanity, I guess. But anyways, conversation went fine. Not much happened. There's no drama that really happened at this point. Surprisingly, today, my brother substituted as a teacher for fifth period, and I was quite flabbergasted. I was silent most of the time here because of my brother, and in that time, I went up to finish an anticipation guide online on my Chromebook for a book that we're going to read about Nights by Eli Wiesel. And I did not bet 25 cents today that students would be late because my brother doesn't know about it, and he questioned for me, even though there was a tip jar that I could have done. And for local interactions, I then pushed for a guy and asked him why he always comes late. And I asked him, like, I bet sense to the teacher that you guys always come late in a tip jar. And I asked, like, why do you come late? He answered that he doesn't like school. He doesn't even like coming to school at all. And for me, I find that super relatable. But I come to school because I need to find friends, bro. Real stuff, especially to fill in for morning period. The reason that I would ever come to school at all, there's a lot of reasons to it. But one of the most forefront reasons is that during sophomore year and freshman year, we are not able to get into permanent friend groups. So we're still on that mission, even though I should have been in one at least a year ago. But I am not today. But anyways, that's a whole different story. I'm not going to go on another tangent about this. But for sixth period, there isn't really much here, as I said again. I did another final test for quadratics and quadratic formula, and A plus B. And one that I do want to share with you guys is that when solving or converting a given formula into another formula, let's say, for example, quadratics, let's say the example parabola in my problem I had was y equals -1, x plus 3, x plus 1. So instead of doing the handiwork, and since this is also multiple choice answer, I would plug in the original equation that I know is absolutely correct for any number for x, and then I would see what the y output is. If I use a calculator and I plug in 88 as x, and let's say my y output is -8,099, and our coordinate points for that original equation was 88, -8,099. Now, I would plug in 88 to the other multiple choice questions that ask for it in vertex form, standard form, and other forms, and see which answer is correct. That means what yields the same y output as our original equation. If the y output is -8,099, let's say, for example, on one of the standard form multiple choice questions, if that's the result, then I'm going to select that as the answer for standard form. It's very easy than simply just choosing to convert it by hand. It bypasses having to solve things physically. And I'll link a video down about it and how to solve quadratics because, well, one of my friends before, obviously. Also, secret mention chat is that my sister also has a new boyfriend, and today I've been sensing he's trying to appease our family and use nice language to get our approval. As for me, though, as for social approval when it comes to relationships and family, I don't really care that much, to be honest. Like, I don't care because at 8 in my relationship, I don't deal with the logistics about it. Family acceptance or social acceptance is mostly symbolical because we live in a democratic USA. As for me, bro, as long as I get free food 50% of the time that they go out to get something, he gets all my approval. Like, they can make out in the van car for all I care.